Okay.
We're off.
So just to introduce ourselves, I'm Flarebear. I'm being the head organizer for this tournament and an active runner of the game. This is Pulsar. He's also another active runner of the game.
That is me. Let's see what kind of spaceships these guys get.
Solid 14. Yeah, good luck to both of the runners. I'm excited to see how this goes down. Because this is the first time Had has seen a setting anywhere close to this.
Yeah, this tournament's huge. It has a huge turnout compared to what we expected.
Plus, even though it's already a decently popular racing community, it's interesting to see what things people will go for in races that they wouldn't in a competitive setting. That's not really a thing that we've been introduced to yet.
Ooh, looks like Dylan's taking up a slight lead. You see, Yvar actually went around the fountain clockwise, which is not something you see usually. Usually people go around counterclockwise instead of the water.
But yeah, the reasoning for grabbing those 5 pawns around the fountain is to open up outer space before going to barrel battle. And even though it takes extra time of backtracking to afford it, the reason it's worth it is because of the yarn that's in this level. We grabbed 2 yarn in the first level and get 4 more here because it gives us 2 hats that have the abilities that we'll be using throughout all of the run that save a ton of time.
Yeah, this level's also really good for picking up a bunch of pawns, which are used to unlock more levels in the run down.
So yeah, they're both getting red vault, so that's the first yarn. Yeah, loading time is not counted in this game. Use the endgame timer, and the yellow timer at the top of their screen is what we'll be using to determine results and stuff like that. In the case that loading zones separate their places, if someone's ahead in in-game time but they're behind in RTA, then we'll let you know. We'll try to keep you updated on who's actually in the lead. Yeah, but now they both have the brewer head, so they're gonna go on a barrel battle and abuse it. Yellow timer is total in-game time. It's all play time, not counting loads.
The green timer at the top right is the current level that they are in.
Yeah, the timer at the top right is the IL timer.
Yeah, we are listening to Yvar's audio right now. Wow, they both wow, really close. She came from outer spaces, 0.1 within each other. Yvar finished just a little bit ahead of Dylan. So now we're going into barrel battle, which is commonly seen as a pretty boring split at the beginning of the game.
Okay, so yeah, this is an example of what I was talking about a moment ago. Judging by their splits, Yvar is currently going into the level first, but Dylan is actually 3 seconds ahead currently. Yes, Dylan is ahead by in-game time, by about 3 seconds right now. So, I'll try to keep you guys updated on stuff like that, just so that it doesn't become too confusing. Generally, what you can just do is watch for what time they finish a certain level. And just try to keep it in mind. Both of them went for the dive strats on the Mafia guys in that fight.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that actually. Neither of them used the brewer hat.
Yeah.
Which is part of the reason why you actually do She Can Outer Space first.
See if girl can handle this barrel. Heads up, little punk.
This is the part of the run where you tab out and look at Discord generally. Okay, so they do use the Dylan is using the brewer stat for the last guy, which is probably the most important part of it.
Yeah, hitting that guy early saves a lot of time because he falls down way quicker once you hit him.
So a 440 on Yvar's end and a 430 on Dylan's end. The barrels don't land there most of the time. They can sometimes desync and end up hitting you anyway, but usually not enough times that you'll die anyway, so most people just stand there and do nothing, look at other stuff. So whatever paces they have right now are going to be thrown around a little bit by RNG. With, like, perfect luck on Yvar's end and bad luck on Dylan's end, he could end up ahead out of this level. Yvar getting canned right off the bat. The double can! They both got canned!
Wow, oh my gosh.
They both got canned!
That's really rare.
Only once, not too bad of a time loss. You can get some really unfortunate cans in this level. But yeah, the NPCs in that room throw stuff at you because they don't like you, and sometimes you can get really unlucky with it and just fall down from dumb places, and it's annoying.
Ooh.
Dylan's going for fight skip. Yvar is not, so let's see how that works out.
Having some trouble getting up top.
Decided to give up on it.
So Yvar is in the boss fight.
Yeah, that might have broken his lead, because that was a pretty big deficit from what it looked like.
Yvar is not getting too good of RNG. Oof.
Supercharge!
Yeah, the RNG in this level is usually not too big of a deal. It's usually up to like 15 seconds difference, depending on how well, just how bad you get. Currently, Yvar has gotten 2 sandbags, but you can get 1 sandbag in the first phase.
Yeah, to explain it briefly, there's 2 things that he can do anywhere from 2 to 4 times that cause different amounts of time loss. This move Yvar's on right now with the sandbags, obviously you can't hit him during that, so how many times he does it will affect how fast your boss fight is. Also, whenever he stands still and yells, he might do it on Dylan's screen. Nope, didn't go for the yell. Yeah, I missed the chance to mention it. I think he's not going to yell anymore. Oh yeah, he just yelled on Dylan's screen. Okay, so those 2 interactions will lose time each time that you have them come up. And they're each possible anywhere from 2 to 4 times. Like, best RNG is a 2-2, but we call it, and worst RNG is a 4-4, which is each of them 4 times. And the time difference in is about 14 seconds. Okay, so yeah, Dylan is behind now. By a little bit. Oh yeah, I forgot to explain it. The Mafia Ball thing, both of them got it. It's a pretty simple trick. Basically, as long as you're on the right wall of the level, and he comes in from the left side, and you hold out your brewer hat, he'll do the thing where he tries to swipe you away if you're too close to him, but he'll like swipe you right into him, and then you'll like be in a spot. And then when he does it to try to do that move, he'll just fall and go out of bounds and die. That is, like, the #1 reason why you need Brewer Hat early on, because that trick saves, like, over 30 seconds, probably. I don't even remember how long that phase is, but it's really long. Yeah, like, it's very, very necessary to have the brewing head at that point.
Ooh, Dylan is doing sewers first.
Okay, so yeah, their routing is going to split up a little bit here. These two levels can be done in either order that you like. The main thing about them is you just have to be watching whichever level that you do second of the two. So like, Yvar is doing Golden Vault and Dylan is doing Sewers. Whichever then they do second, they have to make sure that they have 100 pawns at the end of the split, or else they can't enter Heating Up, which is a 100 pawn level that you have to open. So that requires backtracking if you end up not having enough.
Yeah, Yvar is good on pawns.
He had more than enough. He left Golden Vault with 101, so he was fine. I haven't seen Dylan's pawn count, but it should probably be good. He didn't get fight skip, which means he got extra pawns from fighting the two guys. So that should help.
Oh, he's 89 right now. I'm not sure how many.
Without double dupe, that's fine. Yeah, with the route he's doing, he's gonna have enough. Okay, they already both have two interesting colors. Dylan's color right now, to be honest, I like most of the colors in this game. So even if I would say that I would like place something like around the middle of how good they are, I still probably like it a lot. It's like, I like Dylan's color a lot. Controversial opinion, Yvar's color is dumb, and I don't like it.
Although it looks like they're really far apart, Dylan and Yvar are only 13 seconds apart, with Yvar being in lead right now.
Yeah, it's because they switched up their two levels of Golden Vault and Sewers. But now they're both entering the same one. The badge shop is not used at all in this category.
Oh wow, did you just see what Yvar just did?
Yeah, he bounced off the guy's head in the lava, right?
Yeah, I've never seen that. Yeah, I didn't even know they were solid, to be honest.
Okay, so Yvar is going for the single death route. Dylan taking an extra damage, missing the tree dive boost. I'm not sure how many deaths he goes for. I think he might be doing double.
He's going for 2 deaths.
Yeah, I think he is.
So at the end of this level, you'll see Yvar kill himself in the lava, so that he can respawn closer to the next.
Yeah, Dylan's going for double, and Yvar's going for single. Okay, so what you just saw from each of these guys, basically, these faucets, as you can see, are scattered so far around the island that it's faster to just die on the lava than to backtrack all the way around to the other ones. So the route that Dylan's doing involves like taking fall damage and bouncing in lava in places where it like takes the least time to do them. That way, whenever you get to the faucet you need to die on, you can just fall in once and die. Dylan had an extra health there, so it took a little bit longer. They both got it.
Oh man, Yvar's struggling
having trouble with the
plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually kind of finicky sometimes.
like the thing you want to be doing when you hit that, when you land on top of that floating platform at the top, you want to like just like immediately jump onto that plate, so that when the timepiece spawns, you're already inside of it and you don't have to do anything else. And then like if you miss the table and accidentally open it, then you have to jump up and mess around with it after the cutscene finishes. Or if you actually land on top of the table, only like the front half of it will actually open. It has a deceivingly small window of where it'll actually do something. I think they're pretty close to even right now. I have to check their splits again.
Actually, yeah, they are right on top of each other, actually.
Yeah, they're
entered barrel battle at 13:04,
right now.
and so did Dylan.
Okay.
So it might not look like it, but we do have a pretty close race coming out of Mafia Town.
Yeah, this will be the last split of Mafia Town that is going to happen for now. There's one more that's done at the end of the run, cheating the race. And it's not done now because it costs 50 pawns, which isn't affordable at this point in the run, so it's routed in at the end. Dylan fumbled a bit on the Bizarre entrance. That might put him a little bit behind.
Yeah, I thought I was watching Doka for a second. Cool, they have both exited Mafia Town now.
Yeah, so Dylan is now slightly behind.
Going into the, what's technically the third chapter, but for the speedrun it's the second chapter, Subcon Forest. Starting off with a nice bag.
In the route, Chapter 2 is postponed for the same reason that cheating the race is postponed, and it's because of pawns. Going around and taking time specifically to collect pawns isn't really worth your time, so we go ahead and get enough timepieces to go here instead, because this doesn't have any cost to level. All the levels here are free.
Introduction to the best character in the game. Too bad we don't get to hear any of his nice lines.
Yeah, and the other reason being the hook shot located in this world. I forgot about that for a moment. Yeah, you can't actually complete the entirety of the levels in Chapter 2 until we have the hook shot from here.
Looks like Yvar is planning to do the death warp.
Yeah, he took a damage on that ice, which is fast to go for if you're going for the death. Basically, there's a trick kind of like the one in Heating Up where you knock yourself down to 1 health. Oh, maybe not. He grabbed the health pawn.
Yeah. Maybe it was just accidental.
You knock your health down to 1 right before you finish the level. And then what you can do is throw a cherry. Like, you can light a bomb. Like the one Dylan's with it right now. He might go for it.
Yeah, they both did it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, looks like Yvar is not going for it, after all.
But yeah, what you can do is, after everything's finished and the timepiece is spawned, you can light it and throw it next to the timepiece. And while you grab it... Oh, Dylan is definitely going
Dylan is doing it.
Okay, so you'll see it in a moment. Yeah, he's gonna keep himself to 1 health. He's gonna finish the level and try to take a cherry to a good spot. He's gonna light it and then throw it next to the timepiece, and then while he's in the animation for grabbing it, while stuff normally freezes in that cutscene, the cherries do not, so they'll continue to detonate and they will kill you while the cutscene is playing. And what this accomplishes is skipping what Yvar is doing right now, which is entering the telescope and re-entering the level. The next level in the run has its like loading zone located in the world. You don't actually have to re-enter a different level to make it to it. So being able to die and respawn in the world and still having the timepiece, this effectively skips backtracking to the spaceship. He's going for it now. And that's what it looks like.
He gets it.
So he did collect the timepiece, and now he's going to be spawning back in. If you like that trick, it's going to happen 2 other times in this run. With different methods of death, of course. All of the ways of dying have different ways of going about them.
Oh, interesting to see Yvar actually hit the Dweller Bell to get up to the subcon well.
Dylan doing most of
Dylan is
it?
doing the alternative. Which is much
That's what that
faster.
looks like. There's a tree right next to that well that, when diving into it, won't have you bonk on it. And because of the angle of it, Hat Kid will just go straight up going into it, so it's a big boost that lets you fly on top of it like that. Okay, so Dylan has gained back a lead on Yvar for now. He's 20 seconds ahead.
Well, keep in mind, Dylan still has to look at a bunch of telescope animations.
Oh yeah. That's another part about the death, is that while it does save time, it doesn't save like as much time as it does directly in the first split. He has extra cutscenes that he has to watch now because he didn't do them originally, like Yvar did. But it still saves time overall to get them out of the way early, or to get them out of the way later.
Oh, interesting. Dylan gets to... Actually, they both get to do this. Well, except Yvar didn't do it. Anyways,
Yeah, Yvar popped out of it.
yeah, so what happened there on Dylan's screen was he switched his control to keyboard, and for one reason or another, you can still control Hat Kid even though the game is paused. So you can pick up the timepiece and then exit the hub to skip the timepiece animation.
The thing that always causes this to happen is in levels where, upon completing them, like the contracts that you saw them talk to Snatcher and Grab at the beginning of a level, the first level, anytime they complete a level that they've signed a contract for, it'll force a pause screen onto your game even though they never input it, and it doesn't go down. And during those like forced pause screens, you can move around as if you switch to a different controller than the one you were on, or just be on keyboard.
Also, again, we have another route difference. This one is a little less common. Dylan is doing mail delivery first,
Yeah.
and Yvar is going to VANESSA'S. It's actually better to skip out on doing mail delivery so that you don't have to watch the another telescope animation.
Yeah, and subcon routing generally, you want to do mail last. Oh, and if I didn't mention it, the reason that those forced pause screens are useful, you'll see it from Dylan right here. You can exit the hub out of them while the cutscene is still playing, so that's why it's good to have them up. See, that saves a decent amount of seconds every time that you get to do it. The reason why it doesn't happen in every level, especially if you skip contracts, is because, well, like I said, a lot of the levels that you do in subcon you don't actually take the time to grab the contracts for because you don't really need to. Okay, so yeah, they have a bit of a route difference. Dylan is the beginning of the level that Yvar started, but he's already gotten mail out of the way. So we'll see how they stack up once they get to the final time rift of the world. Yvar is doing a cutscene skip right now. There's a big wall right in front of him that has like a cutscene, and he's gonna use the door to jump over it. He makes it. So then you just get to go right to the chest.
Also, there's a pretty large skip in this level, which is actually overlooked quite a lot in the speedrun. Instead of what you're supposed to do in this level is go into the mansion and just walk around and avoid Queen Vanessa, but you can actually just crawl under this barrel for some reason and it just sends you straight to the end of the level. There's a lot of theories on why it's in the game. I don't know why it's there myself, but you're gonna see them both do this.
I believe that the hole that skips the level was added in because, like, I might be wrong, but because, like, it's a really scary level and, like, it's a huge, like, shift in theme from the rest of the game, from the game's levels generally. And so, like, I don't know, if you don't want to go through it, if it's too, like, sensitive, then you can just go through that hole.
Yeah.
Either that or it's a treat for speedrunners.
Yeah, definitely a good treat. So now, looks like we're both on the time rifts of Subcon Forest.
Yeah, something else I was gonna say. Vanessa, like, it's nice that that exists because the run of that level is kind of silly and it's tedious. And it was done a ton in the beta.
Yvar having some trouble trying to grab this timepiece.
He's swinging around for it right now. Oh my god,
he's
I got run over it!
There he goes.
Okay,
there he goes.
Oh, Dylan has to put on his hookshot real quick. That's an effect of what happens. That's another thing that happens if you do mail delivery first. So, whenever you go to mail delivery, like you saw, he was riding around on a scooter. That scooter is actually a badge. That's the only time, other than like hookshot, that you use a badge in this game. And it's given to you, but only for the duration of that level. And so, since we don't buy any badge pins, you only have one slot for badges. So whenever it's given to you, you have to remember at some point to put the hookshot back on.
Yvar's on his way to village. Let's see if he gets the spider bounce. Oh, he's actually doing the really consistent strat, which I can't blame him for doing. There's another strat you might see Dylan do it in a little bit, where you bounce on one spider and then bounce backwards and wall climb, but it can be finicky at times.
No, they're both going for it. Oh wait, no, I was watching the wrong stream. Whoops, my bad.
Yvar.
Yeah, I was watching Yvar again.
Unfortunate death. Now his cycle's gonna be all messed up.
Yeah, if you get your cycle messed up here, getting out of here can be finicky because those pillars that are spinning around can be really hard to mess with if they're out of place. Sometimes, like in the center of them like that, you won't even get a wall climb on them. Like, he should make it up from this one, though. No! Oh my gosh, this is tragic.
Everything is not working. Yvar dying on pipe. Or,
yeah.
Excuse me, Dylan. Dylan does get the single spider bounce.
Yeah.
As we were talking about earlier.
You can do a tight double jump wall climb up that pillar. He didn't go for it that time, though. Village is a hard level. That is the true thing. Yes, Dylan does have quite the lead right now. We'll see for sure exactly what it is whenever their splits match up again. But Dylan finished the village before him, and he's already gotten mail delivery out of the way, so he does have a big
that
lead.
means he's on his way to Battle of the Birds, isn't it?
Yes, he should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, RTA time for a run varies on who you have playing, obviously, and the loads that they get. But generally, the safest estimate is like around an hour to an hour and 5. Okay, so yeah, Dylan is starting up Battle of the Birds now. This world is probably the most tedious of them all, especially because of its place in the run and some of the levels being pretty technical and difficult on the stuff that you can go for them. Missed the SDJ there, didn't get the full momentum off of it.
He's gonna do a death warp here. He was really good setup for that. Well within the boundaries for that. He's gonna climb up on this fuse box and skip a really boring auto scroller. He just jumped over it now. And then he's gonna go under the speaker, and that skips a lot of time. The auto scrolling cart that you're supposed to hit takes a really long time.
Yeah, like the last whole third of that level, fortunately you can make it past with some good platforming easily. Whenever he died and respawned later on is an instance of abusing the locations of checkpoints. There is a checkpoint in like the latter half of that void, so as long as you fall far enough into it, then you will be able to skip having to ride the trolley. Okay, it's a 27:40 finish for Dylan. Both of them getting good cycles on that last penguin there. That guy is very deadly. The skip that both of them went for, where they fall under the platform and come from the other side, if he decides that he wants to turn around or start walking away when you do that, he will catch you through the wall, and he'll detect you instantly, and it will respawn you at a checkpoint that's about like 15 seconds behind. And he is a bad penguin. He's very deadly.
So Dylan is entering Murder on the Express, which is a level that is sped up quite a bit in the speedrun. You do a whole lot of sequence skipping in this level.
There's one big one in particular. A lot of this is like, basically it has you like go from like room to room and backtrack for stuff like that. And there are lots of keys to unlock different things that you need to make it to the end. But there's one big sequence break in particular that allows you to only have to go into one room to grab a key. And you can skip through everything in that room as well. So most of the like backtracking and searching in this level is made faster. But just for reference, Dylan is about 1.5 minutes ahead of Yvar right now. Dylan is doing the sequence break now. Jumping up to this button isn't supposed to be accessed until later, until you're on the top floor, but you can make it up by wall climbing and wall kicking off. And now he's in the last main room of the level. they go through the end like Yvar is doing right now to grab the detective hat because there's an invisible wall blocking that button until you actually, like, start the main stuff of the level. You can't get past to doing all these cutscenes. This is one of the earlier instances of levels that can only be done this way on version 1.0. This game is run on a beta of the game that's set to be the first version of the game because of skips on it that don't exist anymore in later versions. This is one of the main ones. It may have been patched back in, I'm not sure. I remember the last time I looked it was still there, but it has been patched out before, which makes it a much longer level.
Yeah, you can see Yvar's tank still there because of the sequence breaking. The game doesn't really know what to do with it. After you... because the game thinks you're in a cutscene when you go through that door, but you're not actually in a cutscene. So you just kind of sit there, and at the time that cutscene would have ended, it teleports you to the same exact spot, so there's no real point in moving.
So yeah, this is the one key that you need, is to open the final door, and then you can just walk right back out. You don't really need that evidence, but once you enter and leave that room, the level ends. So part about these levels, just in like how they work in the game, these are like movies that you're like acting out to play for Conductor and DJ Grooves. Conductor's levels are both on his train, which you can see on Yvar's screen, and DJ Groove's levels are both on the moon, which you can see on Dylan's screen. And basically the way this like world works is however you act out like in their movies, or how like well you perform, I guess, they get awarded certain points. You can see Yvar got 36 points for murder. That's because you skip most of the levels, so you barely get any. The only part that this matters for in the run is the level where you like talk to the person that gets the most points, because the final level, whichever person you like played better in their levels wins the award at the end. And Conductor winning is better because it's faster to have him talk to you than to have DJ Grooves talk to you. There's one trick in particular that helps that. The death warp that I mentioned earlier, that I said would be done again later in the run, is done in DJ Groove's second level. Since you don't want DJ Grooves to win, it helps that you kill yourself at the end of it, because it really damages the amount of points that you get. And so as long as you do it generally, the Conductor will always win, because you get a lot of points from Train Rush.
Dylan is going into Train Rush. This is a level that is part of the reason why you do Subcon Forest first before this. You need the hook shot in order to actually unlock this level. Or you can go in the level, but you can't actually do anything until you pull that trigger with the hook shot. And having to go to Battle of the Birds and then back to Subcon and back to Battle of the Birds would not be optimal.
To explain, you don't actually have to go through the boss level. The person that wins the award is only a tiny time save. It does matter. The only time it matters is an award ceremony, which is like the level that decides which person will become the boss. Obviously, we just take that free timepiece, free 10-second timepiece, and leave, because the boss fight itself is really long.
Yeah, we got another route difference here. Yvar is doing gallery first, which I'm assuming Dylan is probably going to do gallery after this, after Train Rush, but he could do parade after this as well.
Oh, that was a weird interaction.
Yeah.
He ledge grabbed onto a platform that was covered by a box. Yeah, not only is that boss fight long, but it also has a decently long platforming section going up to it, which is nighttime DBS, I guess you can call it. Where you have to enter the elevator. Okay, so yeah, Dylan is going for gallery now. You were right. He's doing it after train rush. Checking his pawn count. He should be good.
Yeah.
He went to grab some extras. He went to grab some extras, but I think he's fine.
Sorry about that. What I was trying to say, he was trying to make sure he has 150 punts, because I'm assuming he's doing parade after this. And you need 150 pawns in order to actually go into the level. It's the most expensive level by far.
Instead of going for the boxes like Yvar did, Dylan waits for the moving platform cycle to get it close enough to skip past them. Okay, so they should both be doing parade next. So I think after this split, they'll be evened up again.
Yep, Dylan is going to pick parade.
So I don't know for sure if these players are going to go for the parade death at the end of this level, but basically these owls that are falling behind him, like his little line, those owls follow your movements exactly, like it's slightly delayed from the rest of them, so they go in an order. And you'll see if one of them gets hit by them, but if they touch you, they send you flying in the direction that they made contact with you. So, like, what will happen if they go for it is that they'll keep themselves at 1 health, and when the timepiece spawns, they'll jump so that the owls are right behind them, and then angle the timepiece in front of them, die, and then their dead body will fly into the timepiece and collect it anyway, and then they'll immediately respawn. And what that does is similar to what it does when he did it in the first level of Subcon. Basically, the next level, just like that other one, is located inside of this level, so it's a waste of time to go back to the spaceship and activate it. The next level that they're gonna do, I'm assuming, is the Moon, which is a time rift that you unlock for beating this level. So, because you die and then beat it, you immediately are able to enter it right after.
Yeah, as far as I know, neither of them have made the ice hat, but they could still go for a different method of parade death. Ice hat is a hat that you use to craft it with 8 yarn, and getting it makes the parade death easier, I guess. It's kind of controversial whether you think it's better or not, but
either way, it's a couple seconds faster, so it's better to go for it in any situation, but the difficulty of both methods of the parade death are pretty similar in difficulty, I'd say. Yeah, neither of them have the ice hat, so if they do go for the death, it will not be ice hat death. Which basically what that entails is freezing yourself still. Oh, he's making it right now.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
he's going for it, he's going for it. I guess he forgot to make it at the end of Train Rush. He did have enough yarn. Yeah, basically what he's doing now is when you're in this ice hat, you can freeze yourself like that, and it makes you invulnerable whenever you're in it. And what that does is allows you to sit inside of these owls. So if he goes for it, what he's going to do is freeze himself on top of a pole like a telephone pole that's up near where the timepiece is. He'll angle himself towards it, and then right when the cutscene for the timepiece opening is about to play, he's gonna like tap himself forward a little bit and have the owls knock him straight forward, and that should launch him right into the timepiece if he gets it. Yeah, if he took out the time to make Ice Hat in Parade, I think he's definitely going to go for it, so we'll get to see that. Because you don't need Ice Hat again for a little while if you don't go for the death.
So if he's going for it, he'll probably be taking 1 damage soon.
Yeah, is Dylan on the final phase?
Yeah, Dylan is on the final phase.
Okay. If he isn't taking time to set it up now, he might not be going for it. He's running out of time to do it.
Yeah.
I think he might just be playing it safe. He went up onto the telephone pole that you set it up on at the last second. I don't know if he's going to go for it now. No, he's not. Okay, yeah, he's just gonna grab it. And basically, you'll see what I mean what the death accomplishes. Right after this, he should just re-enter the level and go to the time rift that's located inside of it. So it skips an extra re-entry.
So Dylan is probably either going to Moon or Murder on the Owl Express.
Yeah, now he has the option to do either. Okay, he's doing Owl Express first, before going to Moon.
Yeah, you can see Dylan grabbing a little bit of extra pawns there. He was trying to get up to 50 so that he would have enough to enter Cheating the Race, which is a level that's coming up in the future. It's the final level in the run where you actually have to pay pawns. So after that, he no longer needs to pick up any pawns for the rest of the run.
Yeah, he went ahead and made sure he had 50 from this split. The only other time you have from now until without backtracking, like in the spaceship or anything, to collect any more pawns, is when he enters Moon, and that's only like 2. There's like 1 or 2 on the roof that you can grab without losing any time. Yvar is going straight into Moon, though.
Dylan finishing up Murder.
I didn't notice what Dylan cycle, cycle Dylan made. I mean,
nice, you got the jump. Yeah, while climbing up that giant moving gear can be pretty finicky at times.
he does get the Santa hat from the roulette. That is a pretty good hat. You'll get to see it once whenever he goes to mailroom. And he does make it over that gate successfully. There is another long portion of buttons at the end of that level that you saw him do at the beginning that you can make over by just climbing on top of that gate and jumping over the gate. The Santa hat does not do anything. It's a cosmetic. Like, whenever you get these like roulette machines at the end of Time Rift levels, they give you like cosmetic changes to your hats and stuff like that. So like right now Dylan is wearing the Ladybug hat. That's a cosmetic upgrade to the Sprint hat. So it's the same, but it just looks different.
Yeah, Dylan actually did Moon SDJ, where Yvar did not. It saves a lot of time over what Yvar actually did.
Almost made it high enough to get straight up on the gate, but he falls down. He was trying to go all the way for the gate right away.
So yeah, instead of pressing the 2 buttons that Yvar had to, Dylan can actually do a jump that gets all the way across to the platform, but it can be pretty precise sometimes. He's trying to get up on the... There
Falls
he goes.
off the gate
He's
the
on
first
front.
time, so the owls get in his way. That can be an annoying thing to deal with. If you ever have to backtrack, then those guys start becoming a big problem. Most used hat is sprint hat. The only 3 hats that you use, other than the first level when you haven't unlocked any yet, are the sprint hat, the brewing hat, and the ice hat. The only times you ever use the other 2 hats is when you stop using the sprint hat. Like, the sprint hat is your default, basically.
Dylan is on his way out of Battle of the Birds. As he takes the timepiece from DJ Grooves. So now he should be headed into cheating the race, which is a very difficult level for a lot of runners, so let's see if he gets it first try. He unequips the ladybug. Interesting.
I can respect that. Not that I agree with the decision, but feeling strongly enough about your choice in cosmetic that you would take the time to unequip it, I can respect that.
So with Yvar exiting Battle of the Birds, they're both on cheating the race. Alright, moment of truth for Dylan.
Basically, whenever you're not using the time stop hat, which is the intended way to beat this level, depending on which strats you do, you have to get some clean movement and end up beating him by just a little bit near the end. So that ledge grab that Dylan got at the beginning can be a pretty dangerous thing, but he should still make it. Oh no, he was so close!
He's right there. Oh
yeah.
Man, if he just got that dive boost, he would have gotten it.
He could have dive boosted into the timepiece, because that would have taken him under the Mafia guy that was blocking it, but he bonked on the guy, like he couldn't get through.
Alright, let's see if Yvar gets it.
Dylan doesn't get a ledge grab that time. Which, every single thing that is extra movement is things that can screw up your chances in this level. He falls out of the cannon! That might be another loss for Dylan for the race. Yeah, that looks like another loss.
Actually, looks like Yvar may also miss it. Oh man, we're having some trouble on cheating the race.
Now it's just down to whoever gets the first success on this level, pretty much.
Get ready. Go!
Makes it cleanly into the cannon this time. Dylan does have a good pace entering the end. He should be able to make it now.
Yeah, he is on good pace.
That's it, for sure.
He gets it.
Okay, Dylan makes it out. Yvar no!
Oh, dang,
that was
torch
on
just
pace
trolled
to
him
make
there.
it barely, but he sprint jumped into it and the torch got in his way. The hit stun from the fire ended up causing him to lose enough time to not be able to make it. That was really unfortunate. Yeah, now Dylan is entering mailroom. This is the 25th timepiece, which will be the last thing that he does in the run before finale. That was good movement entering into the cannon. Let's see if he makes it on this one. That might be it. He went under it!
All of these are so close.
Oh my gosh.
No room.
That's like 4 like super tragic attempts of CTR between these runners already. The torch one was actually the worst one that I've seen. Yeah, he was right on it. He sprint jumped trying to get into it. ended up hitting under the Mafia guy instead. So he runs right under the timepiece and goes past it.
Alright, Dylan just got his 25th timepiece, which means Finale is actually going to be unlocked after a little sequence with Mustache Girl. Yvar gets cheating the race finally, so now he is on his way to mailroom. As Dylan exits mailroom and goes to Finale.
Yeah, the difference between Yvar's last attempt and the second to last attempt, what I noticed. Let me watch it again. Yeah, he's slightly farther ahead than he was the other time. So when he sprint jumped, he actually didn't bonk on the Mafia guy's head, which is what screwed him over the first time. Yes, this is pre-workshop patch, the first launch patch of the game. So we will be seeing Finale skip from both of these runners. Finale is normally not completable without the Dweller hat because there's a big barrier inside of the level that you can't get past otherwise. But luckily there is an out of bounds that both of these runners will be doing. Which I know they will both be doing because they have no other option. Other than that, there's like this little sequence that Dylan's in right now. You're supposed to have to have all the hats to unlock that gate, but there's not like an invisible wall over it, or not too big of an invisible wall, so you can just jump right over it from that clock. So yeah, Dylan has a pretty hefty lead, but you never know when you get to a trick like Finale skip. Like, a mistake such as falling down when he's out of bounds can cost minutes at a time depending on how it happens. So they'll just have to hope they both do well here.
Alright, here he goes, getting out of bounds.
Yeah, it tells you you're missing an item entering the level, but luckily doesn't actually block you from entering it. It still gives you a chance to complete the level, even though it knows you should be able to. Okay, so Yvar's, Dylan, I mean, is climbing up right now. He doesn't, oh, he does make it on. Okay, I thought he was about to slide off. Okay, so now he's out of bounds and on top of the roof. So, and he is going for slides. So basically, once you're on top of this roof, you can just do whatever, make it until you get to the end, and then get to the final boss and go out of bounds. But the faster thing to do is just to slide on the edge and chill there, because that's the fastest speed that you can actually get up here. So is he gonna get up? No, he's going for full slide. He's going for full slide. Is he gonna get it? He does get the first one. Okay, so Dylan is going for a pretty precise trick now. He's sliding so far in that there's invisible walls here and a hole that he has to go through. So if he does make this, he should be good. And he gets it, first try, okay. Yeah, missing that trick, it saves like 15 seconds to go for. Basically what some people do is whenever they get into that room, they get up from the slide. Because there's invisible walls on those things he was like ducking through. Oh, he bonked at the very end!
That is a huge time loss.
This is what I was talking about. That is multiple minutes right there. That's 2 minutes for him. No, like 1 minute and 45 seconds. That's so sad too. He got full slides and everything, and then just failed to get up to the end. But yeah, what Dylan did leading up to that point is a run killer trick. Okay, yeah, Yvar is going for dive boosts all the way across, I'm assuming. So he should be good for making it to the end. So yeah, this is closer than it has been now. Let's see if Dylan goes for it again or takes it safe. Yeah, he is playing it safe.
That is a smart decision on his part, I think.
Yeah, what happened with Dylan falling down and bonking? Basically, the reason that slides on this are risky to go for is because whenever you miss them due to the nature of these slopes, you will fall off. And getting up from your slides only triggers correctly in specific spots. If you go up too fast, you'll bonk on the angle of the arc. And like trying to get up when you're not high up enough, you'll just slide and fall down because it's still too steep for her to stand on. Yeah, they're both going for the dive boost now. That hole that he jumped over, he still made it over that the second time. If you're not doing slides and you don't slide over the hole, just have to make sure that you sprint jump over it so you don't fall into it. Okay, so Yvar is about to try to go back in bounds to talk to Mustache Girl. He's taking it safe on this jump here, and he does make it. Now he just has to touch this wall, and he's in. Oh, okay, yeah, there he goes. Okay, so he's done with Finale Skip for now. As long as he doesn't die on this first phase of the fight, then he is through to finish the run. Dying on any other phase of the fight except for this one will actually checkpoint you, but if he dies right here, then he has to do everything over again. It looks like he should be good. Yeah, he's got it. He's got it. Yeah, they were walking on top of the ceiling of the building. They were doing it out of bounds. So now they're both entering the fight at about the same time, RTA, but Dylan is around a minute ahead right now. It is close in real time, but Dylan has a pretty decent lead. Okay, so this is another one of the great uses of the Brewing Hat. Mustache Girl has these attacks where she'll fly up into the air and throw timepieces down. And you can skip waiting for her to come back down by throwing a potion at her, because it is like your only real ranged attack. Your other attacks are your umbrella, which you can't use in the air, and your homing attack, which you have to be above her to use, and she's too high up for that. So the Brewing Hat is good. It's gonna do it again on this phase. And the reason why it's good here is because each time you hit her with the Mafia Ball, like the intended way, you have to wait like he is now for it to drop back down to the ground. So if you can opt to not use it for every single attack, then it helps.
So I think the only chance for Yvar is really good cherry RNG and really bad cherry RNG on Dylan's part. Let's see what kind of RNG we get. He gets a double hit on Mustache Girl, which is actually not really common.
This is good RNG for Yvar, actually.
This is very good RNG.
This might be a 2-cherry. So yeah, basically the way this phase works, whether or not she shields herself when she's doing attacks like she is now, or whether she just does a normal one like she is now. Oh, he's dead!
Oh, he dies on Mustache Girl.
Yeah, that was a 2-cherry too. That could have been really good.
Yeah.
That might have helped.
Dylan is also getting very, very good RNG, actually. I don't think that was a 1-cherry. I didn't see 2, but I could have just not been paying attention. He exits cherry phase.
But yeah, that is a pretty big time loss. Like I said earlier, it does checkpoint you if you die after the first one, but he is all the way back at the first part of the fight. Which I think is around 2 minutes, maybe? I'm not entirely sure the distance between those two phases. No, it's more like a minute and a half. But yeah, Dylan is about to enter the final phase and the timepiece. This should be a W for him. You actually can't die in this phase.
We do use the in-game timer for both races and the leaderboard. Because of RTA load times, it just makes it fair for everybody. Like, Dylan has worse load times than Yvar. It's obvious by the total in-game timer. But Dylan is actually ahead in-game time because he's been playing better. And Dylan is just about done with the game. There's like 10 seconds left before he's going to get it. So this is a 56 for him, which is a couple-minute win. Oh, he's BMing.
What is he doing? What is he doing? He's messing around in his hat menu.
Should have taken.
And he's done.
There he goes. 57.05. Could have been a 56,
put on the Santa hat.
But he just had the BM. So Dylan takes the first win of the first Hat in Time tournament race. We're finishing up here in the final phase of Mustache Girl. So yeah, he skipped all the text, but the reason why they're just exploding and giving Hat Kid life energy is because they realize that everybody's made of pawns, and killing themselves to give Hat Kid energy to defeat Mustache Girl is sacrifice for the greater good.
I assume they made that choice under the assumption that Hat Kid will win the fight because she's now literally invincible.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
as you're saying, her life doesn't go down. So like, oh yeah, I trust in her to win this, and then she'll just use the timepieces to bring me back. Yeah, that is a metal cutscene.
Should be just about done. There he goes. Not quite sub 1 hour. Really close though.
Yeah, just outside of 1 hour.
There it is. 1 flat 14-14 for Yvar and 57.05-42 for Dylan. Dylan taking the win.
So yeah, they both suffered big time losses in finale. Just what I was talking about earlier. Like, they each had over 1 minute time loss deaths. Dylan with a 1.5-minute death in finale slides, and Yvar with like a 1.5-minute death in the fight.
Alright, well that concludes the first match of the Hat in Time Any Percent tourney. Thank you all for watching.
We do not have time for a post-match interview with either of these people, though, unfortunately, so that will be it for us.